So we've been seeing this term pop up all around social media, intrapreneurship, coming up next. Hey guys, ECRG here, back with another video. Today we've got a really good one. We're going to be talking about intrapreneurship. That is basically the term intra, like within an organization, and entrepreneurship jammed together. And a lot of you guys may not have heard this term or are probably loosely familiar with what the term is. And it's basically an entrepreneur inside of an organization. And I think over the course of the next decade to 15 years from now, as millennials become the overwhelming job creators and employees in the workforce, and I guess it's Gen Z or something that comes after the millennials, Gen Y, whatever they are, the people that are younger, they have a unique need and want for autonomy and freedom within the workplace. So I think we're going to see a lot more intrapreneurship companies adopting this model where you have different silos of people working on their own projects and things to bring to the mainstream, where we haven't seen that before. This term was originally founded in 1978 by Gifford Pinchot, and really it stems from the Silicon Valley demographic, startup culture, where the entrepreneurship spirit is very strong. But I think as we grow and as millennials become the dominant job makers in society and are owning the businesses and making all the decisions in society, that we're going to see a lot more entrepreneurship, because people are moving more towards wanting the freedom and the autonomy that people of our parents' generation, 45 and up right now, did not want or need. They wanted the characteristic lifestyle of, get the house, get the dog with the white picket fence, all of that stuff. But the millennials and younger don't seem to really want that. So I think companies are going to adapt and become more susceptible and become more focused on entrepreneurship as a way to keep people happy within the corporate culture, as well as achieve very big goals. We right now have a lot of things that need to be fixed, and a lot of people believe that entrepreneurship is the way to fix them. So, intrapreneurship is one way to fix that as well, because you are going to have the safety net of a large organization, the resources, the skills of a large organization to kind of power you to the product or whatever you're trying to fix through entrepreneurship. So it's a very interesting idea, where like most entrepreneurs are kind of, solo, they got their funding and they're like kind of working on their own. But in this way, you have the safety and resources of a company that you can kind of leverage in order to get products onto the market. So this is interesting. There are many examples of this that there are many examples of the intrapreneur throughout history. Apparently the Macintosh team, the team that developed Macs, were intrapreneurs in Apple. And, they pretty much, did that within the Apple ecosystem and were able to come with some interesting products. I know Google has a strong culture of this as well. And, it's people that are like above the manager level who are doing this. Typically in the corporate structure today, it's the executive team that kind of work independently and report back to the CEO, but they're in charge of a lot on their own. But in the entrepreneurship realm, you're gonna have to have some experience and some trust with the company, but you're gonna be in charge of your own thing, and it's gonna be people that are like self-driven, self-motivated, kind of know what they're doing. And who knows, maybe something big like the Macintosh can be brought about in this way. And really the main reason for me even making this video is because as mindsets change, as mindsets shift over the next 5 to 10 years, I think we're going to see a lot more autonomy come into the workplace, especially in clinical research. Clinical research is usually about 5 to 10 years later than everybody else. But I think there's a lot of opportunity for the entrepreneurship mindset to take hold in clinical research. And I'm going to give you a couple examples. One, the CRA, that might be an entrepreneur right now, or at least kind of like a self-employed freelance type of gig right now, because most of them, actually, I'd say probably 90% or more work from home when they're not traveling. And when they're not at home, they're traveling. So they are pretty much by themselves. They only call in for meetings, etc., things like that via WebEx or via phone. They are never really in the office. They get excused for a lot of things. So a lot of people like it for that autonomy, for that freedom that they have. So that's one of the jobs especially. But in clinical research as a whole, you've got plenty of people, project managers, clinical trial leads, project directors. You've got a lot of positions that are just 100% remote pretty much, and, just work in a home office. And that kind of gets that entrepreneurship spirit, because you've got to trust yourself and understand that you've got to get the job done, and, you're responsible for your goals. So it's kind of similar, but not really, because they aren't in charge of, developing their own project and bringing something to the market. But they are in charge of a big, like $20 million budget of a protocol in a clinical trial, and steering that and making sure that the drug is able to get through whatever phase of clinical trial that it is, and still make the CRO some money at the end of the day. So it kind of has that spirit, but not exactly the same thing. So I think this is a culture that is definitely going to be popular in clinical trials and clinical research, because they're kind of moving towards that in some ways already. You've got tons of employees in clinical research that are home-based. You got business development people that are home-based. You've got even entry-level people like clinical trial assistants, project specialists, project coordinators, remote monitors. So a lot of these people can be home-based if they're not already, and kind of will develop into that entrepreneurship mindset. So I think with the advent of people wanting that autonomy and freedom, and the benefits for the companies to allow remote work, I think we're well on our way to being in that mindset where you're kind of siloed on your own, but you're heavily connected through technology. And this is one of those things where technology has really benefited this, if not for at least the fact that we even are able to understand what this is and look at this and as a popular way of doing business in the future. So wanted to bring that to you about entrepreneurship. I think this is a term that you guys should look out for over the next couple of years, see if your companies are going to be doing anything with that. And I think it's really going to be cutting edge and something to really look out for. So hope you like this video, guys. Email us at eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com for any inquiries you may have. And that's it. Take care.